Okay. So are there any tools or software that you'd recommend for creating a professional looking resume? I mean, you've talked about the ability to create them in Canva. There's
Mhm.
also Word templates and things like that.
Yeah,
You talked about using AI, large language models, in a
yeah.
sense for buzzwords and maybe tidying things up. Grammarly for spell check and things. Is there any other tools or tips you can think of?
Yeah, I guess if you are keen to have a CV that looks nice, but you don't want to go down like the Canva route for obvious reasons, then there are loads of websites out there which will give free ATS templates.
Hmm.
So that's, I suppose, one one tip because then you know that at the very least, like it's going to get read by the computer,
Yeah,
even if it doesn't get through.
yeah, yeah.
Yeah, so I'd say it's not overly complicated. Obviously, it's not anything snazzy, but what it does is it just guarantees that the format of your CV is going to get through, and I think that's so important
That
because
yes, that is because I was going to ask. I mean, say about like putting images like graphs and charts and photos into the CV, it might jumble it in the ATIS. Is the
yeah,
ATIS? I don't know how it's extracting text from the files. So I
yeah,
suppose they've got some kind of AI text extraction system on it. So they're probably better than they have been in the past
yeah,
if they've been updated recently with that kind of technology.
mm,
But whether you can actually try this out a little bit if you go to Google Docs and you've got an image of your resume, and then you can actually click and open as a doc. And what the Google Docs will do is it'll try and open it up. It'll try and extract the text. But what you'll
okay,
find is the text will come through. Sometimes it'll come up through okay, but if you've got an image with text, it won't really know where to place it,
yeah,
and
yeah,
then the
yeah,
text might end up jumbled in with a.
yeah,
I might do a
exactly,
demonstration for the course on this just to
yeah,
give an idea. So I'd imagine some of the ATIS are doing that,
yeah,
and then it's probably not reading properly, although it might have the keywords. It depends on if the ATIS is literally just looking for buzzwords or if it's actually smart
yeah.
enough to do some preliminary scanning on grammar and sentences as well.
Well, it'll grade it. So all of the CVs that I produce are like 90% plus on an ATS.
Hmm.
To like that. So like a recruiter could set the ATS so it's like, okay, anything that hits 75%. So this is another thing actually that they could do, which I probably should have mentioned earlier. They could set it to like, okay, if it hits 75%, then let it through.
Yeah.
Or they could put, if unless it hits 95%, I'm not interested.
Hmm.
So um yeah, I think going back to what you just said, I think it would depend because if, like you say, if the keywords are in there, it might get through,
Hmm.
you know, but it all depends on like how strict the parameters are that's been
Yeah.
set
Yeah.
for the, and and it is a good tool. It really is. But also, I will always like spot check if I use an ATS. I'll quickly have a quick look at some of the ones that haven't made it through
Hmm.
just to make sure that, I'm
That's a
not
good
missing
idea.
anything.
Yeah.
Mm.
So there's tools out there that will run your resume through an ATS style system to check.
Yeah, yeah, they are. You do pay for them, and so I do. I have like a subscription, but I have like because I contract for quite a few different companies.
Mm.
Um, I'll like check their ATSs and things like that, and like spot check and run things through them, and then I run my own CVs through them as well. And I've run the same CV before through like 5 different ATSs, and it's all give different results with
Yeah.
the same
Okay.
parameters or similar parameters. So
Yeah.
that's why I still check because they're not like watertight or anything.
It's a bit of a minefield, isn't it, with the
It really is.
ATSs because you might do everything right, but the way that ATS has been set up might not be
Mhm.
brilliant, and this is why it's a bit of a numbers game at the end of the day.
Mhm. Exactly.
Okay, so yeah, so do you recommend using those systems to check your CV against? I mean, are there any way you can take the job description, the specific job description, put
Yeah.
that into the ATS tracker service, and then put your CV in and say, well, however they're determining their is ATS passable
Yeah.
system. Did it work where it's bespoke for that?
Um, Yeah, you could do. It would be a lot of work for somebody, I think. It wouldn't, there's no like easy kind of, oh yeah, just put that in there and put that in there and it'll tell you a number. And I think that's been done probably for commercial reasons because it is such like a big thing now. But yeah, I think unless you've got access to that, I think you'd struggle to do that.
So on these ATS check-in systems,
Yeah.
with your subscription, what do you do? Do you just say this is the job title that I'm going for,
Yeah.
or the applicant is going for?
Yeah. Yeah.
And that's like probably a drop down of all sorts of
Yeah,
jobs.
exactly.
And then you take their resume and you put it
Yeah.
into that, and then it basically checks it as if an ATS might check it.
Yeah,
You don't know
exactly.
what their parameters are going to be, but at least it's got some generic parameters, and then it'll give you a score as to how fit for the ATS it is. But
yeah, that's it. That's it. And you can like put like, you know, the level, so it's for entry level C-suite, like you can put like geographic information in there, like you can put all sorts in there, to be honest. But yeah, that's how I go about it generally.